Maya didn't mean for it to be anything more than a fleeting moment of recklessness, a joke, even. She had stared at the sterile digital form for nearly an hour, the hospital intake site blinking impatiently at her. Emergency contact required. But what was she supposed to do? She had no family in the city. Her ex-girlfriend had blocked her months ago, and her friends, they were more like co-workers with good lighting and better excuses. Maya's apartment was quiet, her phone quieter. She didn't want to put anyone she actually knew on that form. She didn't want to seem vulnerable. So her mind did what it always did when the silence got too loud. It wandered. To her. Serafina. The name alone made her stomach twist with something that felt like déjà vu and danger. It had been 6 months, maybe more. A bar Maya never went to, an unplanned detour. A whiskey she didn't finish. And her, leaning against the brick wall like she belonged to the shadows, with lips like secrets and eyes that swallowed light. They had spoken for less than 20 minutes, but Maya remembered every syllable. Serafina hadn't laughed once. She had watched Maya with a kind of stillness that felt like being seen through glass. And then she disappeared. No number, no last name, just the name Serafina said slowly, like it meant something ancient. So Maya typed it into the form. First name, Serafina. Last name, unknown. Phone. She made one up. Relationship, friend. She hit submit and forgot about it, kind of. Except she hadn't. Not really. Because sometimes when she walked home alone, she imagined those dark eyes watching her again. Not in fear. In curiosity. And once or twice, maybe, she wished they were real. But fantasies, even the ones that wrap themselves around your ribs and whisper at night, don't show up in daylight. Or, at least, they shouldn't. The day of the accident was unremarkable until it wasn't. Maya had been running late for a pitch meeting, balancing a coffee and a tablet, half reading her notes when the world tilted. Screeching tires. A horn. Then silence. She woke up to white lights and 4 drips, a dull throb pulsing through her temple. Voices murmured. Machines beeped. Her mouth was dry, her tongue leaden. Miss Reyes, a nurse said gently. You're at St. Luke's. You've been in an accident, but you're going to be okay. You've already had a scan. We contacted your emergency contact. Maya blinked. Confusion tangled with pain. Wait, what? Who? She's already on her way, the nurse replied. Serafina. For a moment Maya thought she was hallucinating. The name echoed like a bell tolling in her chest. That can't be right, she croaked. She's not, she won't come. The nurse frowned. She already said she was 5 minutes away. And that was the moment Maya felt true panic. Not because of the accident. Because of her. What had she done? She tried to sit up, but pain lanced down her side. Before she could say anything else, the door opened. And the room changed. Not physically. Not visibly. But the temperature seemed to drop by 10 degrees, and the light seemed suddenly too sharp. Serafina stood in the doorway like a blade, sleek, cold, and impossibly composed. Her hair was darker than Maya remembered, pulled back into a low twist that revealed the cruel elegance of her cheekbones. She wore black from throat to boots, and her eyes, God, her eyes, were the same. Unreadable, bottomless, old. Maya Reyes, she said, her voice low and smooth, like water over stone. What the hell have you done? The nurse hesitated, clearly sensing something wasn't right, and quietly exited. Maya swallowed hard. I didn't think you'd actually. You put my name in a human database, Serafina interrupted, stepping forward. With a fabricated phone number, which someone somehow traced to me. Do you understand what kind of risk that is? Maya stared. Wait, traced? How? I just made it up. Serafina's jaw tightened. Clearly, fate has a sick sense of humor. The vampire stood at the foot of her hospital bed now. Too close. Too real. Maya's heart thudded against her ribs. I'm sorry, she said, barely above a whisper. I didn't think it would matter. I didn't think I'd end up here. You should have forgotten me, Serafina said flatly. That night meant nothing. It didn't feel like nothing. Maya replied, and hated herself for the way her voice broke. Serafina flinched. Just barely. But it was enough. A crack in the marble. You have no idea what I am, Serafina said. You don't want to know. And dragging me into your mortal mess. Then why are you here? Maya snapped, surprising both of them. Silence stretched like a wire. Serafina's gaze flickered. I don't know, she admitted. And that was when something shifted. Not in the world. In them. Maya stared at this impossibly composed woman. No, creature, and felt something stir beneath the fear. Not desire. Not yet. Something heavier. A gravitational pull. You could have ignored the call, she whispered. You didn't have to come. Serafina looked down at her, jaw clenched, and for the first time, Maya saw something like wariness. Or guilt. Or curiosity. Don't mistake this for care, Serafina said. I came to sever the thread, not tie it tighter. But Maya could feel it. The thread was already there. Invisible, maybe. Fragile, definitely. But it tugged between them all the same. Then why haven't you left? Serafina didn't answer. She simply turned, walking to the window, arms crossed tight over her chest. Outside, the sky was bleeding dusk. This is dangerous, Serafina said after a moment. For both of us. Then walk away, Maya whispered. And again, no answer. Just the slow inhale of someone centuries old who had tried, again and again, to live without being touched. Maya didn't understand what she was doing. Why her chest hurt when Serafina looked at her like that. Why her heartbeat kept skipping every time their eyes met. She didn't know the rules of this game, or this world. But she knew one thing. Whatever she had ignited by typing that name into a form, it was burning now. And neither of them seemed willing to put it out. Serafina didn't leave. Not that night. Not even when Maya drifted into a fog of medicated sleep, her body bruised and fragile, but her mind spinning with 1,000 questions she didn't dare ask aloud. Serafina stayed. Silent. Still. Like a statue sculpted from darkness itself, positioned in the corner of the hospital room where shadows curled around her form like loyal pets. Every nurse who entered seemed to hesitate near the threshold, their voices quieter, their eyes unwilling to settle too long on the woman who didn't seem to belong to the realm of the living. But Maya felt her presence through the drugs. Felt the weight of it, like gravity bending towards something that shouldn't exist. She dreamed of sharp teeth and cold lips and hands that didn't shake. She dreamed of eyes that watched her, through centuries. And when she woke, hours later, it was still night. The monitors beeped in time with her slow heartbeat, and the city beyond the window pulsed with distant sirens and red light. Serafina stood now, her back to the room, her gaze fixed on the skyline like she was memorizing every terrible thing it contained. You're still here, Maya said, her voice rough. Serafina didn't turn. Yes. You don't seem like the type who sticks around. I'm not. Then why are you? There was a long pause. Finally, Serafina said, because you made me a name on a form. And the world noticed. Maya frowned. What does that mean? Serafina turned then, her eyes shining with something that wasn't human. It means connections have power. And claiming me, even as a joke, created a thread. Threads tug. Especially in my world. Are you saying I summoned you? Maya asked, trying to laugh, but wincing instead. Like a demon? Something like that. Serafina's voice was quiet. Except I was already watching. Maya's breath caught. You were? A faint, almost imperceptible nod. I shouldn't have been. I don't involve myself with mortals. I don't linger. But you did. Serafina looked away. It was a mistake. Maya wasn't sure if the ache in her chest was from the bruises or the words. She wanted to ask what Serafina was, exactly. Vampire, yes, but that word felt too small. Too childish. There was something ancient in the way she moved, like the world hadn't touched her in decades. So, what happens now? Maya whispered. You walk away and pretend I never typed your name? I should, Serafina said. Then do it. But neither of them moved. Serafina's hand was on the windowsill, pale and elegant, fingers curled like she was holding back more than just words. "You don't understand the danger," she murmured. "Your world isn't built for what I am. And my world tears people like you apart." "You're scaring me," Maya admitted.
"Good.
"You should be scared." But there was no cruelty in her voice. Only exhaustion. And something softer. Regret, maybe. Maya pushed herself up with a wince. "If it's so dangerous, why didn't you disappear months ago? Why let me remember you?" Serafina stared at her. "Because I wanted to see if you would." Maya blinked. "You were testing me?" "I was curious." Her voice dropped lower. "I haven't felt curiosity in a very long time." Maya held her gaze. "And now?" Another pause. Then, "Now I'm angry. Because you made me care about a stranger. Because you pull me back into the light." Maya didn't know what to say to that. Her throat tightened, emotions tangling in ways she couldn't unravel. "Maybe you needed someone to pull you back. Or maybe you just lit a match in a room full of gunpowder," Serafina snapped, her eyes flashing. "You don't understand what you've done." "Then tell me," Maya said, voice rising. "Explain it to me, because I'm lying here in a hospital bed with no idea what the hell is going on except that the woman I couldn't forget somehow became real again." Serafina stepped closer, and Maya felt the air shift, colder, sharper. "There are rules," she said. "My kind lives in silence. We don't form bonds. We don't leave traces. Your name on that form, it made something real. It gave the world permission to see me again. And what does that mean? It means others will notice too." Serafina's expression hardened. "Creatures who aren't as restrained. Beings that would see your blood as currency. I've protected myself by staying invisible. Now, because of you, I've been named." Maya's stomach twisted. "I didn't mean to put you in danger." "It's not me I'm worried about." The room fell into silence again. Outside, the sky was turning from purple to gray.
Dawn.
A time Serafina probably hated. Maya could barely think through the painkillers, but her thoughts burned with questions she wasn't ready to ask. Finally, she said, "If I'm in danger, are you going to protect me?" Serafina didn't answer, but she stepped closer. Close enough that Maya could see the faint veins beneath her pale skin, the unnatural stillness in her chest. She wasn't breathing.
Didn't need to.
"I haven't protected anyone in over 100 years, Serafina whispered. "Then maybe it's time." Maya didn't know where the words came from, only that they felt right. Serafina studied her, expression unreadable. "You don't even know me."
"Neither do you," Maya replied.
"But you didn't walk away." Serafina closed her eyes for the briefest second. When she opened them, something had shifted. "You need to get out of this hospital," she said. "Why?" "Because they'll come looking."
"Who?"
"Things that move in smoke and mirrors. That smell threads like the one you made." Maya shivered. "Are you saying there are more like you?" "Worse," Serafina murmured. "And they won't be interested in conversation." Maya swallowed hard. "Then take me with you." Serafina blinked. "What?" "You said it's dangerous. I believe you. So, if I'm already in the fire, pull me into the shadows." Serafina stared at her for a long, frozen moment. Then, very softly, she said, "You don't know what you're asking." "Maybe not. But I trust you." "You shouldn't. But I do." And that was it. The thread between them tightened. Serafina stepped closer, reached out, brushed her fingers along Maya's wrist.
Cold.
Inhuman. Comforting. "You're going to regret this," she whispered. "Maybe," Maya breathed. "But not tonight." Outside, the first rays of sunlight crept over the skyline. Serafina turned away from the window. Her eyes glowed faintly red. "We leave before sunrise."
"How?"
Maya asked. "I can't walk. Then I'll carry you." "You'll what?" "Don't argue," Serafina said. "You wanted my world. This is the first rule. We move in silence." And with that, the vampire leaned down, her arms sliding beneath Maya's frail frame. She lifted her with an ease that felt both impossible and intimate. Maya gasped, clutching at her shoulders. Their faces inches apart. Heartbeats only one. Serafina's gaze met hers. "Hold on," she whispered. "And whatever happens next, don't scream." Then she vanished into the darkness with Maya in her arms, the hospital behind them, and something far more dangerous waiting just ahead. The night wrapped around them like velvet dipped in ink, muffling sound, swallowing light. Maya had never seen a city so quiet, like the world itself was holding its breath. Serafina moved like smoke through the hospital corridors, Maya cradled in her arms, limp and dazed from the sudden shift in gravity, time, and reality. No one stopped them. No alarms. No nurses screaming. No footsteps chasing. It was as if they'd passed through the cracks between moments, slipping out of one existence and into another. Maya wanted to speak, to ask where they were going, how they weren't being seen, why Serafina's skin felt like chilled marble, but the words stayed trapped behind her teeth. She felt safe in a way that made no sense. A kind of dangerous safety, like standing at the edge of a cliff with the wind coaxing you closer, whispering, "Jump, and you'll understand everything." Serafina didn't look at her as she walked. Her jaw was set, her eyes forward, her arms holding Maya with the same precision and care one might give to a sacred object or a bomb about to detonate. They exited through a service corridor and into the back alleys of the city. The air hit Maya's face, sharp and damp, the smell of asphalt and secrets clinging to everything. "Where are we going?" she finally asked, her voice a broken whisper against the chill. "Somewhere I can hide you," Serafina replied without slowing. "Somewhere they won't find us. Yet." "Who's they?" "Things older than fear." Maya's heart stuttered. "You're really not joking." Serafina's lips twitched. "I lost my sense of humor around the time of the Great Fire of London." Maya blinked. "That's not funny." "Good. It wasn't meant to be." They turned a corner, and Serafina stopped in front of a rusted metal door tucked between two dumpsters. She kicked it once. It creaked open like it hadn't been used in a decade. Inside, darkness. "Of course. Close your eyes," Serafina said. "Why?" "Because seeing too much too soon breaks people. And I'm not interested in carrying a shattered version of you." Maya hesitated, then shut her eyes. She felt Serafina's step inside. The air changed again, thicker, colder, old. Not musty, not moldy. Ancient. Like stone vaults and things that shouldn't be remembered. Serafina moved swiftly through the hidden space, and when she finally stopped, Maya heard the sound of heavy locks sliding into place. "You can open them now," Serafina murmured. Maya did. They were inside what looked like a derelict underground sanctuary. Stone walls, candlelight, velvet drapes that had once been red. A massive fireplace unlit. And books. Hundreds of them. Lining the walls, stacked on tables, scattered across dusty chairs. It was like a forgotten cathedral and a vampire's boudoir had collided. Maya's breath caught. "This is where you live." "No," Serafina said. "This is where I disappear." She gently laid Maya on a plush chaise, her touch surprisingly tender, and stepped back. Maya shivered as she watched her remove her coat, revealing a lean silhouette dressed in black silk and leather. Not a single piece of skin was exposed to the candlelight unnecessarily. "You're bleeding," Serafina said, her voice suddenly softer. Maya looked down and saw that one of her wounds had reopened. "It's not bad," she murmured. Serafina was already kneeling beside her, pulling a glass vial from the folds of her coat. She poured a few drops onto a cloth and pressed it to Maya's side. The pain was sharp at first, then gone. Not dulled. Gone. "What is that?" "Something you shouldn't ask about unless you're willing to know the price," Serafina replied. Her hand lingered against Maya's skin. Too cold. Too still. And yet it didn't feel wrong. Maya exhaled shakily. "You're not what I expected." "You expected fangs and blood and seduction," Serafina said dryly. "Not shadows and rules and warnings." "Maybe I expected a fantasy." "And you got a war." Silence stretched between them. Maya studied Serafina's face, its symmetry, its restraint. She wasn't beautiful in the way people usually meant. She was impossible. The kind of beauty that didn't belong in this world And knew it. Why did you really come? Maya asked quietly. When they called you. Serafina didn't answer right away. She rose to her feet and walked to the unlit fireplace, staring into the cold stone. Because I felt it, she said finally. The moment they called my name, it pulled something in me I thought had long since withered. I told myself it was just a fluke, that I didn't care. But something woke up. She turned to face Maya. And I hate it.
Why?
Because connection is the first step toward ruin. For me. For you. Every bond I've ever made has ended in blood. Maybe it doesn't have to. You're too soft, Serafina said, her voice sharp now. You think the world bends because you hope hard enough. But my world doesn't care about hope. It only respects power. Silence. Survival. Maya stood, unsteady but upright. Her body ached, but her voice didn't waver. Then why did you let me in? Serafina stared at her. I didn't. You're lying. And you're foolish. They were close now, so close the air between them felt electric. Maya didn't move away. You scare the hell out of me, she whispered. Good. But I don't want you to leave. That stopped Serafina cold. Her eyes flickered with something Maya couldn't name. Say that again. I don't want you to leave. Serafina stepped closer. You don't know what I am. Then show me. The vampire's hand came up slowly, brushing Maya's jaw with the backs of her fingers. It was a touch that shouldn't have been intimate, but it was. Terribly so. You don't understand the hunger, she murmured. The part of me that wants to consume everything soft in you. Then take it, Maya whispered. I'd rather be devoured than forgotten. Serafina inhaled sharply. Her control cracked, just for a heartbeat. Her fingers gripped Maya's chin, holding her still. Don't tempt me, she hissed. You have no idea what I've done to the women who said that to me before. I'm not them.
No.
You're worse. Because you believe I can still be good. Can you? A pause. I don't know, Serafina said, voice barely audible. But I want to try. And I hate you for that. Then hate me here. Stay. Serafina let go. Her hands trembled. For the first time in over a century, she let herself feel something that wasn't hunger or pain. And it terrified her. Sleep, she said hoarsely. You need to rest. You'll be here? Yes. Will you watch me? I won't look away. Maya nodded, lying back down. Her eyes closed. The room faded into silence. Serafina watched her for hours, until the candles burned low, and the weight of the old world crept through the walls. And somewhere far beyond the hidden door, something stirred in the darkness, something ancient and angry, now aware that Serafina had been seen, that she had chosen, and it was coming. Maya dreamt of teeth, not sharp ones, not monstrous, but the kind that grazed skin in slow, deliberate hunger. She dreamt of breath she couldn't feel, of lips hovering just above hers, of being wanted with a force so ancient it hurt. And in the dream, Serafina was whispering something against her throat, words Maya couldn't understand but felt down to the marrow. When she woke, the world was colder. She sat up slowly on the velvet chaise, her ribs still tender but manageable. Her limbs ached from tension, not trauma. The fire still hadn't been lit. She blinked toward the only movement in the room. Serafina stood by a bookshelf, one hand lightly brushing the spine of a faded volume, her gaze far away. You don't sleep, Maya said softly. Serafina didn't turn. Not anymore. Do you ever miss it? No, Maya pushed herself to her feet, the room tilting slightly. You don't miss anything? Serafina turned now, slowly, her expression unreadable. I miss silence. Seems pretty silent in here. Not in here, Serafina murmured, tapping her temple. Up here. Inside. Before you, I had peace. Maya stepped closer, heart thudding louder than it should. And now? Now I have questions. Ask one. Serafina tilted her head. Why did you remember me? Because you looked at me like I wasn't invisible, Maya said without hesitation. Everyone else is so distracted. always performing or pretending. But you looked at me like I was real. Serafina studied her. You are. The words dropped between them like something dangerous. Maya's breath caught. Then, why do you act like you regret being near me? Because I do. She took a step forward. And yet? Maya asked. I can't stop. The space between them collapsed. Serafina didn't touch her. But the heat of the tension, the pressure of their closeness, felt heavier than skin. There's something I need to show you, Serafina said suddenly.
Now.
She turned toward the far wall and pulled aside one of the heavy velvet drapes. Behind it, a stone archway revealed a descending staircase. No light, just a whisper of air that felt older than breath. What's down there? Maya asked. Truth. You really love being cryptic, don't you? It's better than being honest. Try both. Serafina didn't smile, but something in her eyes flickered. Come, she said, disappearing into the dark. Maya followed, one hand grazing the cool stone as they descended. The temperature dropped with every step. The scent of dust and forgotten time thickened. When they reached the bottom, Serafina lit a single candle. Its small flame flickered across a chamber lined in mirrors, except none of them reflected her. Maya stared. Is this a ritual space? Something like that. What do you do here? Serafina walked to the center and placed the candle on a circular pedestal. This is where I unmake myself. Where I remember who I was before. And who were you? A girl who was curious, she said quietly. Too curious. Who trusted the wrong woman. Who said yes to something she didn't understand. She turned you? Maya asked. Serafina nodded. She promised eternity. She didn't mention the price. Which was? Loneliness. Hunger. Watching everyone you once loved wither and die, unable to even say goodbye. Maya's throat tightened. And you've been alone ever since. Not always, Serafina admitted. But eventually they all leave. Or I do. Because you're afraid? Because I'm dangerous. Maya stepped closer, her hand brushing Serafina's. You keep saying that, but all I've seen is someone who keeps protecting me. Serafina pulled away. Don't mistake control for kindness. Then tell me what you want. Silence. Then, I want you to stop looking at me like that. Like what? Like I'm not a monster. Then stop acting like one. The air pulsed between them. Serafina turned away sharply, but Maya followed. Why bring me down here? What truth are you trying to show me? Serafina reached into her coat and withdrew a small dagger. It shimmered with runes along the blade. This is the only thing that can kill me. Maya froze. Why are you showing me this? Because you need to know how this ends if you stay. You think I'd use it?
Not now.
But one day, when I lose control, when I feed. Maya shook her head. I don't believe you. Then you're still naive. Or maybe I see something you can't. Serafina's voice dropped to a whisper. I want you to leave. No, Maya. No, Serafina's hands trembled, and that terrified Maya more than any blade. Because for someone that ancient, to tremble meant something catastrophic was brewing underneath. If you stay, they'll come for you, Serafina whispered. They'll smell the bond between us. They'll see you as a threat.
As bait.
And I won't be able to save you. Not forever. Then don't protect me forever. Just right now. You don't understand what we're starting. Then let it start anyway. Serafina turned slowly, her eyes gleaming red. You're either very brave or very stupid. Maybe both. You don't know what I'm capable of. Then show me. All of it. Their breaths mingled. Maya could feel the storm behind Serafina's restraint. The hunger, the fear, the desire. She reached out, brushing her fingers across Serafina's jaw. Let me see you. You already do. And just like that, Serafina kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was a breaking, a collapse. Her mouth claimed Maya's like a secret desperate to be told, like a scream held back for centuries. Maya gasped into it, overwhelmed by the cold, the fire, the grief, the craving that poured out of Seraphina's still body. She tasted like night and longing and something wild that should never have been caged. Seraphina pulled away too fast, her eyes wide, her lips parted. I shouldn't have done that. But you did, Maya whispered. And I don't want you to stop. You don't know what that kiss means. Then teach me. But before Seraphina could speak, a sound shattered the moment. A low, guttural hiss echoed through the chamber. Then another. And another. No, Seraphina breathed. They found us.
Who?
The ones who've been waiting for me to break my silence. The ones who smell your blood, like a bell ringing across the veil. The mirrors began to ripple. Shadows slithered across the glass like hands searching for cracks. Maya backed up, heart racing. What do we do? Seraphina drew the dagger. We fight, or we run. Which one are you choosing? That depends on whether you trust me. Maya stepped beside her. I do. Seraphina's mouth twisted into something between pain and wonder. Then hold on, Maya. Because this is the moment everything changes. The world fractured. One moment Maya was staring into Seraphina's eyes, her pulse tangled with something more dangerous than fear, and the next, reality cracked open like glass underfoot. The mirrors that lined the chamber pulsed violently, their surfaces warping like liquid. Shadows spilled out, crawling across the stone floor like ink with intent. They didn't walk, they slithered. Fast, predatory, and silent. Maya stumbled back, instinct screaming, but Seraphina didn't flinch. She stepped forward with a dagger in one hand and her other arm stretched slightly in front of Maya, a gesture that felt less like protection and more like possession. Don't move, she said, her voice low and calm, laced with centuries of command. They're testing the boundary. What are they? Maya whispered. They were once like me. Now they're less. Less. Emptier. Hungrier. They gave up their names to become what they are. The air was growing colder. Maya's breath came out in clouds. The shadows began to take shape, not full bodies, but hints of faces, elongated fingers, twitching mouths that didn't seem to speak so much as hum, dissonant and wrong. Seraphina stepped into the circle of candlelight, the blade in her hand now glowing faintly. This is sacred ground, she said, her voice echoing with power. You have no right here. One of the shadows surged forward, testing her. Seraphina moved like lightning, silent, brutal. She sliced through it mid-lunge, and it let out a screech that made Maya flinch, her hands over her ears. But the cut wasn't blood. It was light. The shadow splintered, dissolved into ash. Seraphina stood again unfazed. That's one. How many are there? Maya gasped. Seraphina didn't answer. The mirrors kept rippling. They know you're bonded to me, she murmured. That's what draws them. A fresh thread. Unclaimed, exposed. Can we run? Not yet. If we leave now, they'll follow. We need to break the mirror gate. Maya's mind spun. How do we do that? Seraphina turned to her. You need to do something I was trying to avoid. What? Say my full name. I don't know your full name. You do. You heard it. That night. At the bar. You just don't remember remembering it. Maya shook her head. That makes no sense. Maya, Seraphina said, stepping closer, gripping her arm. It's locked inside you, because I let you hear it when you weren't supposed to. My name is my power, and I gave you a taste of it when I first spoke to you. That's why the threat exists. That's why I couldn't forget you either. And if I say it now, it seals the bond. Permanently. Yes. Is that bad? Seraphina's eyes flared red. It means they can't take you. But it also means I can't let you go. Ever. Maya's heart beat faster. So, I say your name, or they consume me. Exactly. What if I say it, and you become something else? Then, that's the risk we take. The shadows began to press closer. The candlelight flickered violently. Maya closed her eyes. That night in the bar. The way Seraphina had leaned in close, her voice a vibration against Maya's skin, whispering her name like a prayer carved from storm and stone. It wasn't just Serafina. It had been longer, richer, older, and suddenly, there it was, rising from the depths of her memory like a song half forgotten. Maya opened her eyes and spoke. Serafina Elverette Nocturne. The room exploded with light. Not fire, not flame.
Light.
Pure and white, searing through the dark like vengeance. The shadows shrieked, recoiling violently, smashing into the mirrors, which shattered with a sound that felt like thunder breaking bone. Maya fell to her knees. The world spun. And Serafina screamed. It wasn't human. It was raw and ancient and full of something Maya had no name for.
Power. Pain.
Release. When the light faded, the shadows were gone. The mirrors destroyed. The air still. Maya looked up. Serafina was on the ground, breathing heavily, no, not breathing. Quaking. Her body convulsing slightly, as if the name had forced something into being that her centuries of silence had tried to bury. Maya crawled to her. Are you? Don't touch me, Serafina hissed, voice hoarse. You spoke it. You spoke it. I had to. You tied me to you. Maya pulled back. What does that mean? Serafina lifted her head slowly. Her eyes weren't red now. They were silver. Glowing, furious, wild. It means I belong to you now. And you to me. Maya's breath caught. You're angry. I should be. But you're not. Serafina shuddered.
No.
Because for the first time in centuries, I'm alive again. Maya reached out despite the warning. Her fingers touched Serafina's cheek.
Cold, yes.
But vibrant. Her skin vibrated with the echo of power. Serafina didn't pull away. Do you feel it too? Maya whispered. Serafina nodded once. It's like standing on the edge of something massive. Something beautiful and dangerous. And it's ours. What happens now? Now we run. Run. They'll send others. Worse things. That light, they saw it. Every creature in the threshold knows now that Serafina Nocturne has bonded again. That she's vulnerable. But you're strong. Not enough. Not alone. But we're not alone anymore, Maya said. And for a moment, the fear cracked. There was something else beneath it. Something bright and fierce. We need to go, Serafina said. You can't stay in the mortal world now. They'll come for you. Always. Then take me into yours. Maya, don't argue. You've already dragged me into it. Let me walk willingly now. Serafina stared at her like she was looking at the sun through a keyhole. You don't understand what it costs. Then I'll pay it, if it means staying with you. Serafina's jaw clenched, but she didn't protest. Instead, she pulled Maya into a kiss. This one was slower, more certain. A vow, not a mistake. And when they parted, Serafina pressed her forehead to Maya's. You've changed everything, she whispered. I know. I don't know how to protect you from what's coming. Then don't. Fight with me. That's not how it works in my world. Then maybe it's time your world changed. A pause. Then Serafina smiled. Just barely. You're more dangerous than I thought. I've been told. Serafina rose, pulling Maya up with her. Her strength returned now. Her eyes steady. We'll go to the undercrossing. It's old. Forgotten. But it'll buy us time. And after that? Serafina looked at her. Then we find out who wants to tear us apart. And we don't let them. The last candle went out. Darkness embraced them. But this time, they walked into it hand in hand. They moved through the undercrossing in silence, shadows coiling along the stone walls like curious serpents. The air was damp, electric, and alive with things Maya couldn't see, but Serafina could. Every step they took sounded too loud. Every heartbeat echoed like thunder in a world that had forgotten what hearts sounded like. Maya's fingers were laced with Serafina's, and though the vampire's hand was cold, her grip was unshakable.
There was comfort in that.
Even in the dark. Especially in the dark. They descended deeper, beneath streets, beneath time itself, through hidden pathways laced with old magic, salt, and bone. The further they went, the more Maya could feel something pulling at her. Not from the outside. From within. Like a piece of her had shifted when she said Serafina's name. Like the bond wasn't just a connection, it was a key. And something had been unlocked. Where are we going? Maya asked, her voice hushed. A safe house, Serafina said. Abandoned for decades. No scent, no trail. It won't hold them forever, but it'll give us hours. Hours. If we're lucky. They passed beneath an arch of twisted roots that pulsed faintly with red light. The walls here looked like they'd grown rather than been built. Maya glanced around, breath hitching. This place, it's alive. Everything down here is, Serafina said. This world was built on forgotten blood. Magic clings to it like moss. Why do you know this place? Because I used to hide here, long before I learned how to disappear completely. You're not hiding anymore, Maya whispered. No, Serafina looked at her. You made me visible. They arrived at a heavy iron door. Serafina pressed her palm against it. The metal hissed, then opened with a groan. Inside was a circular chamber carved into the stone itself. The walls were lined with old glass lanterns unlit, but the room pulsed faintly with an amber glow. It felt like being inside the ribcage of something ancient and sleeping. Stay close, Serafina said. Don't speak unless I ask. If the walls respond to your voice, I don't know what they'll say back. Maya obeyed, stepping beside her as Serafina traced a symbol on the floor. The glow shifted. Warmer now. A whisper passed through the space, too soft to decipher, but Maya felt it deep in her bones. Recognition. Serafina sat cross-legged in the center and gestured for Maya to do the same. We need to seal the bond, she said. Completely. I thought saying your name was enough. That was the beginning. Now you have to let me in. Maya swallowed.
How?
With blood. Just a drop. Mine or yours? Both. Serafina's voice softened. It's not a ritual of dominance. It's a choice. You don't have to do this. Maya held her gaze. I already chose you. Back at the hospital. When I typed your name. This is just me finally admitting it. Serafina's expression flickered.
Surprise.
Gratitude. Hunger. She pulled a silver pin from her coat and handed it to Maya. Maya pricked her finger, and a bead of blood welled up. Serafina did the same. They touched. The moment their blood met, the room exhaled. The walls pulsed once, twice, then went still. But something in Maya shifted again. Not just warmth. Not pain. Something new. She gasped as the bond solidified, like invisible threads tightening around her soul, not choking, but holding. Anchoring. I can feel you, she whispered. Yes, Serafina said. And I can feel you. It's beautiful. And dangerous. But real. Yes. Serafina leaned forward, brushing her forehead against Maya's. You're not just tethered to me now. You're of me. They'll feel that. They'll hate it. Let them, Maya said. I've never belonged anywhere before. If I belong with you, I won't give that up. Even if it kills you? Especially then. Serafina's breath hitched. Maya. But her words were cut short by a sudden tremor through the chamber. The glow dimmed. The walls groaned. They're close, Serafina hissed. They found us faster than I thought. Can we fight them? Not here. This place won't survive the clash. She stood in one fluid motion and reached into the folds of her coat. This time, she drew two blades, curved, obsidian, humming with dark energy. You'll need to trust me completely. I already do. No, Serafina said. You don't understand. What I'm about to do will blur the line between who you are and what I am. If I mark you, they won't just see you as mine. You'll start becoming part of my world. Physically. Spiritually. Will it hurt? Yes. Will it save us? Maybe. Maya stepped forward. Then do it. You're braver than anyone I've ever met, or stupider. Serafina cupped her face.
No.
Just human enough to break all my rules. She pressed one of the blades against Maya's collarbone. whispered something in a language Maya didn't understand. The blade flared hot for a second, then cold, and Maya felt the mark burn into her skin, a sigil, seared by magic, binding her deeper to Seraphina than any vow could. The pain was exquisite, blinding.
Pure.
She cried out, but didn't fall. Seraphina caught her, arms wrapped tight. "It's done," she murmured. "Now they'll hesitate. Now they'll know who you are." "And who am I?" Maya asked, trembling. "Mine," Seraphina said. "And I'm yours." Before Maya could respond, the chamber shook violently. Cracks spidered across the floor. A voice slithered through the air, low, cruel, feminine. "How sweet," it said. "The predator thinks she's found a pet." Seraphina froze. "No," she whispered. "Not her." From the shadows beyond the door, a figure emerged, tall, regal, and deathly pale, her smile full of teeth that gleamed too white. Her eyes were gold. Not yellow, gold. Pure and polished. "You always did like broken things, Seraphina," the woman said. "Is this your newest project?" "Lilith," Seraphina said, voice cold. Maya's blood went cold too. She knew that name. Everyone knew that name, even if they didn't know why. "You're not welcome here. And yet, I was invited the moment you bled for her." Lilith's smile widened. "You marked her. That's a declaration of war." "Then let it come," Seraphina said, stepping between Maya and the intruder. "Because I won't give her up." Lilith raised a brow. "You won't have a choice." Then, without warning, she moved. A blur of motion. Steel meeting steel. The chamber erupted into chaos as Seraphina clashed blades with her past. And Maya, heart pounding, throat raw, body marked by something ancient, stood in the center of a storm she had willingly stepped into, refusing to look away. The clash of blades echoed through the chamber like a war hymn. Sparks flew as steel met steel, shadows rippling with every strike. Seraphina was a storm, graceful, ruthless, utterly focused, but Lilith was chaos dressed in silk. She moved like a whisper and struck like a god. Maya pressed herself against the far wall, heart racing, chest heaving. She couldn't look away,
Couldn't blink.
couldn't breathe. She had never seen Seraphina fight before. Not truly, and it was terrifyingly beautiful. Her black coat flowed behind her like wings, her eyes burning silver. Every step calculated, precise, ancient. And yet Lilith matched her. No, toyed with her. "You've slowed," Lilith purred, twisting mid-swing, blades sliding past Seraphina's in a flash of light. "Centuries in hiding didn't preserve your edge, darling." Seraphina didn't answer. She spun low, swept Lilith's legs, then pivoted upward with both blades aimed at her throat. Lilith vanished, disappearing in a swirl of dark mist, only to reappear behind her whispering, "But you've never fought for something soft before. Is that what makes you reckless now?" Seraphina growled, spinning with inhuman speed, slicing toward her former lover with both daggers. Maya's breath caught. Former lover. She didn't know how she knew, but she felt it. In the way Lilith moved around Seraphina. In the way her voice curled around her name. "You gave yourself to a mortal," Lilith sneered, deflecting with a smile. "How quaint. You marked her. You bled for her. Is that what it takes now? Do you get off on saving things you know will die?" "You don't get to speak her name," Seraphina spat. "I haven't yet," Lilith replied sweetly. "Because I'm waiting for her to scream it when she realizes what you've done." And then she lunged again. Steel rang. Dust fell from the ceiling. Magic burned in the air, hot and wild. Maya gritted her teeth, trying to push down the fear. But something inside her was responding. The bond. It didn't just connect them emotionally. It echoed through her bloodstream, reacting to Seraphina's pain. Every cut, every blocked hit, every tremor of rage or fear on Seraphina's part flared through Maya like a shared pulse. She felt her knees shake, her fingers tingle,
Her mouth dry.
and then her mark, the one Seraphina had burned into her, ignited with heat. Maya gasped. The sigil on her collarbone glowed through her shirt, pulsing like a heartbeat. She clutched it, stumbling forward. Serafina, stay back, the vampire snapped, not looking away from Lilith. She shouldn't have that mark, Lilith snarled. It was meant for me. Then maybe you shouldn't have betrayed it, Serafina growled. Lilith's face twisted into something feral. Oh, darling. You haven't even told her the truth, have you? About the last mortal you marked. The girl who begged you to let her stay. The one you turned. Stop. The one you killed. Stop. Serafina lunged with renewed fury, her blades a blur of wrath. But the words were already inside Maya now, echoing, bleeding. The one you turned. The one you killed. Is it true? Maya asked, her voice trembling. Serafina froze for half a heartbeat. And in that moment, Lilith struck. The blade sliced across Serafina's side. Not deep, but enough. Enough to draw blood.
Dark. Thick.
Older than history. Serafina staggered. Maya's scream cracked through the room. Lilith smiled. She doesn't know what you are, she said. She thinks you're noble. Tragic. But you're a monster who drinks hope like wine.
Get away.
From her, Maya growled, stepping forward. Her mark blazed. And something answered. A pulse in the air. A tremor beneath the stone. Lilith's eyes narrowed.
Oh.
Oh, that's interesting. What? Maya demanded. The bond is changing, Lilith whispered. She's not just yours anymore, Serafina. She's becoming something new. Serafina's face was pale, but her voice didn't waver. You touch her, and I will end you. You ended me centuries ago, Lilith hissed. Now, let's see what kind of goddess your little mortal becomes. She vanished again, this time toward Maya. But Serafina was faster. She intercepted mid-motion, their bodies slamming into each other with supernatural force. Serafina pinned Lilith to the wall, blade pressed to her throat. Enough. You can't kill me, Lilith breathed. But you can try. No, Serafina whispered. I can't kill you. And then she dropped her blade. Lilith blinked. What are you? But she can. Maya didn't know how she crossed the space so fast. Didn't know how the second blade ended up in her hand. But it was there, obsidian and humming and alive. And Serafina was stepping away, making space, letting Maya choose. Maya raised the blade. Lilith turned to her, suddenly less amused. You wouldn't. Try me. You think you know her. You don't. She'll drain you the second you let your guard down. She'll love you right into your grave. Then at least I'll die knowing I chose it. Maya's voice didn't shake now. And if you touch her again, I'll bury you myself. Lilith stared at her, then smiled, just once, blood dripping down her lip. She's already stronger than you were, she murmured to Serafina. That should scare you. Then, in a blur of smoke, Lilith disappeared.
Gone.
The silence that followed felt heavier than any scream. Maya dropped the blade. It clattered against the stone. Serafina collapsed to one knee, clutching her side. Maya ran to her, catching her before she fell completely. Let me see. It's not deep, Serafina said. But her blade was cursed. I need to burn it out.
How?
Fire.
Blood.
Time. Maya pressed her forehead to Serafina's. You scared me. I scare myself. Is what she said true? About the girl you turned? Serafina didn't answer. Not right away. Then softly. Yes. And you killed her? No, she looked up. She asked me to turn her. I did. But she couldn't handle what she became. She lost herself. I tried to save her. She begged me to end it. I couldn't. So what happened? Lilith did it for me. Maya's heart ached. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you to see me through her eyes. I don't. Maya took her face in her hands. I see you. All of you. The pain. The guilt. The hunger. I'm not blind, Serafina. And I'm not afraid of your past. Only what you'll do if you run from it. Serafina closed her eyes. You're too much. Or maybe just enough. They sat in silence for a long time, Maya holding her, Serafina leaning into the touch like it was the first real comfort she'd known in centuries. Then Serafina whispered, "If you stay with me, you'll change." The bond. It doesn't stop at the surface. It reaches deeper. Eventually, you'll begin to feel things. See things. Need things you didn't before. Like what? Like blood. Like darkness. Will I become like you? Serafina hesitated. Not exactly, but not fully human either. Then I'll be something new. Something dangerous. So be it. Serafina looked at her, eyes shimmering with something ancient and raw. I don't deserve you. Then earn me. Their lips met again.
Softer this time.
A promise, not a surrender. And far above, in the world they left behind, the stars flickered like warnings. Something was coming. Not just Lilith. Not just the creatures between worlds. Something older. Something watching. And the bond that had begun as a lie was now a beacon. One that could either save them all or burn everything down. The silence after Lilith's departure was sharp, almost suffocating. It wasn't peace. It was the breathless moment between heartbeats, the hush before a storm. Maya sat beside Serafina on the cold stone floor, the taste of steel still lingering in her mouth from the power that had surged through her. Her hands trembled slightly, but not from fear. From something else. Something awakening. She felt the mark on her collarbone throb gently with heat, like it was sinking to a rhythm she hadn't noticed before. Not her heartbeat. Serafina's. Serafina leaned back against the wall, pale but steady, eyes half closed as she concentrated on letting the cursed wound seal. The gash across her ribs pulsed darkly, but Maya could see it already starting to knit closed with every slow inhale Serafina took. It wasn't healing naturally. It was healing because Maya was close. This is new, Serafina murmured, voice low. What is? Your presence. It's accelerating the healing. That shouldn't be possible. But it is. Yes. Serafina opened her eyes. You're changing faster than I anticipated. Do you regret it? Maya asked. Bonding me? No, Serafina said. But I worry what it's doing to you. I feel different, Maya admitted. Like there's something burning under my skin. Not pain. Not power exactly. But something alive. Like a second pulse. Serafina nodded. The bond is deepening. It's rewriting parts of you. You won't be mortal much longer. But I'm not becoming a vampire either, am I?
No.
You're becoming something else. Maya leaned her head against Serafina's shoulder. That doesn't scare me. It should. You scare me more than what's happening inside me, Maya whispered. Because you make me feel like I've never felt before. Like I finally belong to something bigger than myself. And that terrifies me. Serafina tilted her head, brushing her lips against Maya's hair. You belong to me, she murmured. And I to you. That's why they'll never stop hunting us now. Then let them come. Maya lifted her face, eyes locked on hers. I'm not afraid to burn this world down if it means I don't have to live in it without you. Serafina's breath caught. She cupped Maya's face with both hands, her thumb brushing along her cheekbone. You're so human, she whispered. And yet you make me want to forget I'm not. They kissed again, deeper this time, the kind of kiss that made time fold in on itself. The kind that spoke of every lifetime they hadn't had together. When they finally broke apart, the chamber had dimmed. The glow that had once come from the walls was flickering, like it too could sense something had changed. We need to leave, Serafina said. The safe house is weakening. Lilith's presence marked it. Where will we go? To someone I never thought I'd see again. A friend, a seer. Old. Dangerous. But she might help us. She's not loyal to any court. She serves balance. If she's still alive, she'll know what you're becoming. And if she doesn't help, then we keep running. Until we stop being prey. The next hours blurred into a series of tunnels, hidden doors, and shadowed staircases. The underworld beneath the city was a twisted labyrinth of forgotten history and forbidden power. Maya saw things she couldn't explain, eyes blinking from cracks in walls, whispers that made her ears ring, sigils that glowed only when she looked directly at them. And still, Serafina moved forward with purpose. No hesitation. No fear. Maya watched her closely. Every step. Every flicker of her eyes. The weight of immortality draped around her like a cloak, and yet, when she looked at Maya, she looked younger.
Softer.
More alive. They reached a sealed gate carved from bone and moonstone. Serafina placed her hand against it and whispered something ancient. The gate didn't open. It breathed, then faded from existence. On the other side was a chamber that felt impossibly still. Time didn't move here. Neither did dust. A woman sat in the center, surrounded by mirrors that reflected nothing. Her skin was obsidian, glowing faintly with stardust veins, her hair coiled in silver rings. Her eyes were white, no pupils, no irises, just endless, knowing light. "Serafina," she said. Her voice sounded like bells dipped in fog. "You've brought ruin to my doorstep again." "This is Maya," Serafina said. "She's becoming," the seer interrupted.
Yes.
"I can see that." Maya swallowed. "Can you tell me what I'm turning into?" The seer smiled, slow and sorrowful.
No.
"Because it hasn't been decided yet." "What does that mean?" "Your bond with her rewrote fate. You've unspooled a thread that never existed before. You're not turning into what she is. You're becoming the bridge between what she was and what the world will need next." "And what does the world need?" Maya asked. "A flame bright enough to burn the veil away." The seer's voice grew quieter. "But flame consumes. And love, when bound to hunger, always devours." "I don't care," Maya said. "I won't walk away from her." "I didn't say you should." The seer tilted her head. "But you must understand that the bond has consequences. If you grow too close, she'll start to feed from you without meaning to. It won't be blood. It will be your light, your fire. And when it's gone, she'll be alone again." "Then I'll learn to feed her without fading," Maya said, voice unwavering. "Or I'll become something that doesn't burn out." The seer stared at her for a long moment, then nodded once. "Then there is still hope." She stood slowly and approached Maya, placing a single fingertip against her sternum. "I will awaken what lies dormant, but it will hurt." "Do it," Maya whispered. A shock ripped through her body. She dropped to her knees, crying out, as something lit inside her chest. Fire, ice, pressure, light. Every cell woke up screaming. She could feel the bond snap tighter, feel Serafina gasp beside her, feel their pulses lock and sync like twin meteors about to collide. And then it stopped. Maya opened her eyes. She could see the bond now, a red thread, faint but pulsing, connecting her to Serafina's heart. She reached out. Serafina took her hand, and neither of them needed words. "Go now," the seer said. "She'll come for you again. But this time, she won't be alone." "What does that mean?" Serafina asked. "It means war is no longer a possibility. It's a certainty." "Because of us?" Maya asked. "Because of what you could be," the seer replied. "They will come not just to kill you, but to claim you." "Let them try," Serafina said, pulling Maya into her arms. "I'd burn the world before I let them take her." "Then you'd better start gathering wood," the seer murmured, already vanishing into smoke. The chamber dissolved behind them. They stepped into a new tunnel, the darkness now familiar. Safe. But Maya knew it wouldn't last. She could feel it in her bones, in the mark on her skin, in the bond between them. Something was coming. Bigger than Lilith. Older than Serafina. And this time it wasn't coming to test them. It was coming to end them, or turn them into something the world had never seen before. The night was no longer quiet. It pulsed. It breathed. And somewhere deep beneath the skin of the world, something ancient was awakening. Maya stood at the edge of a ruined chapel, stone cracked and ivy choked, once holy and long since forgotten. The stars above spun slowly, too slow, as if time had started to coil in on itself. She could feel them watching, creatures who had once worn crowns made of blood and dusk. They knew her name now, not because it had been spoken, but because her blood no longer hid from them. It called, and it burned. Serafina stood behind her, silent, unmoving. Her presence was a weight, a protection, a storm barely held back by restraint. Maya turned to her, heart already in her throat. "They're coming." "Yes," Serafina said. "And you feel it." "I feel everything." Maya's hands trembled, not from fear, but from power.
Raw.
Untrained. Growing. "I don't know how to hold this much inside me. It's like I'm on fire all the time." "That's the bond," Serafina said, voice low. "And what you've become because of it. You're not human anymore." "Then what am I?" "Mine." Serafina stepped forward, brushing a hand down Maya's cheek. "And something this world doesn't have a name for yet." Maya leaned into the touch. "What happens if I lose control?" "Then I'll hold you together." Maya closed her eyes. "And if you're the one who loses control?" Serafina smiled faintly. "Then I hope you still remember how to burn." They kissed slowly, desperately, like they were trying to memorize each other before everything turned to ash. But there was no more time for softness. The air shifted. A cold wind rolled through the chapel ruins, smelling of wet earth and ancient promises broken. And then they arrived. Shadows first. Dozens. Some humanoid. Some not. Some crawling on all fours, others floating just above the cracked stone. Their eyes glowed in shades of gold, violet, blood red. At the center stood Lilith, more regal than before, her gown woven from smoke and thorn. But this time, she wasn't alone. Flanking her were beings Maya couldn't name, one with skin of obsidian glass, another wreathed in fire, a third with eyes like empty graves. Serafina tensed. "They're the High Circle," she whispered. "They never leave the threshold. Not unless they're afraid," Lilith finished, stepping forward. "And you've given them reason to be." "She's not a threat," Serafina said.
She's not ready.
"Not yet," Lilith agreed. "But soon? She'll be more than a threat. She'll be a catalyst. And we don't allow those to live unchecked." Maya stepped forward before Serafina could stop her. "You're afraid of me?" "Not yet," Lilith said. "But we're not here to talk about fear. We're here to offer you a choice." "What kind of choice?" Maya asked, her voice steady. "Come with us," Lilith said. "Leave Serafina. Train under the circle. Understand what you are. Become what we were before we fell." "You want to separate us," Serafina growled. "You want to take her away and remake her into something hollow." "No," said the obsidian-skinned being. "We want to refine her. She's raw potential. You would waste her on sentiment. I would love her," Serafina snapped. "Which is your flaw," said the one of flame. "Love clouds judgment." "No," Maya said. "Love is what's made me strong. I wouldn't be this if it weren't for her." "Exactly," Lilith said softly. "She made you. And what she creates, she controls." Maya flinched. "That's not true." "Isn't it?" Lilith's eyes gleamed. "The bond ties you, but it also cages you. How do you know the fire you feel is yours and not hers bleeding through your veins?" Serafina looked stricken. "That's not Maya. Don't listen to her." But Maya was already trembling. Not with doubt. With fury. "You think I'm just a vessel. That I exist because of her. But you're wrong. I chose her. I called her. I kept her name. I gave it power. That bond? I wanted it. And if you think you can twist that into something ugly just because you're afraid of what I'll become, then you don't understand me at all." The High Circle didn't flinch. They stood in silence, unreadable. But Maya could feel it. The shift. The uncertainty. "She's not ready," said the grave-eyed one. "Then we wait," Lilith murmured. "She'll break eventually. Or she'll destroy you," Serafina said. "With me at her side." "You won't survive this war," Lilith said. "You don't know what you've started." "Then let it burn," Maya whispered. A pulse of energy exploded from her chest. The mark on her skin ignited like a star. White hot, blinding. The High Circle recoiled. Shadows screamed. Trees cracked. The sky groaned. Maya fell to her knees, clutching her chest. It felt like her body was shattering and reforming all at once. Serafina rushed to her. You're changing again. Too fast. I can't stop it, Maya gasped. It's moving through me.
Breathe.
Let me anchor you. Serafina pressed her forehead to Maya's, and the power calmed. Just enough. But they both knew this wasn't something they could delay much longer. Next time, Lilith called out, her voice like a blade, we won't come to offer a choice. Next time, we come to end it. And with a crack of light, the circle vanished. The silence left behind was deafening. Maya collapsed fully, breath ragged. Serafina caught her, held her close. I've got you, she whispered. I've always got you. They're going to kill us. Then we don't give them the chance. Maya looked up at her, eyes glowing faintly now. What am I becoming? Serafina brushed her hair back. Something they fear. Something they want. Something I'd destroy everything to protect. I feel like I'm on the edge of something, Maya said. Like I'm going to break. Or ascend. Then we face it together. Serafina kissed her, fierce and aching. Whatever happens, Maya, you don't go through this alone. They sat in the broken chapel as the wind howled around them. The world was unraveling, and they were at the center of it. A bond forged by desperation, strengthened by choice, bound by love. And somewhere in the shadows, destiny waited, sharp, hungry, and ready to strike. They didn't run. Not this time. Not anymore. In the days that followed the circle's retreat, Maya and Serafina vanished from the surface of the world. They retreated into the roots of reality itself, hidden sanctuaries, ancient havens built long before language, deep within veins of the earth where time didn't matter, where fire could burn without consuming. And there, in the silence between chaos and confrontation, they prepared. Serafina trained her how to hold the fire, how to breathe through the pain, how to command the growing power that pulsed inside her like a second heartbeat. Maya bled in secret, screamed into stone, burned through visions and illusions and every weakness she'd once had. And Serafina never left her side. Not once. They slept curled together, skin against skin, Maya's warmth chasing away centuries of cold that Serafina had accepted as eternal. They kissed through nightmares, through transformation, through doubt. And in those kisses, something older than fate bloomed. Love, yes, but also recognition. Not of what they had been, but of what they would be. A union that defied structure.
A bond not meant to exist.
And still, it did. When the call came, they knew. A shudder through the threads of the world. A silent scream heard only by those bound by power. The circle was moving. This time not to threaten, but to finish it. The battleground was chosen for them, an abandoned city at the edge of time, where ghosts walked open-eyed and the wind carried prayers from dead tongues. The sky above bled violet. The air shimmered like breath in winter, and they stood in the center of it. Maya in black, her sigil blazing bright across her collarbone, hair wild, eyes glowing with something that could no longer be called mortal. And Serafina, regal in shadow, blades at her sides, lips set in a line of fury and devotion. The circle emerged in silence. Lilith in front, the others fanned behind her like a fan of death's wings. This is your last chance, Lilith said.
Separate.
Sever the bond, or we unmake you both. No, Maya said. Not this time. You would die for her? Lilith asked. I would live for her, Maya replied. And if that threatens you, then maybe it's time you burned. The circle attacked first. Not with swords, but with force. Waves of it. Soundless and suffocating. The sky cracked. The ground split. Magic like oil and fire spilled in every direction. Maya staggered, caught by Serafina's arms. It's too much, she gasped. Then let it be too much, Serafina said. You've been trying to control it.
Don't.
Let it rise. Let it take you. I'll be here. What if I lose myself? Then I'll find you. Maya looked into her eyes and jumped. Not literally. Not with her feet. With everything. She let go. And the power exploded. Wings of light burst from her shoulders, not angelic, but elemental, raw and jagged and holy in their violence. Her screams split the world. A dome of fire surged outward, blasting the circle back. The obsidian one shattered. The flame-born shrieked and vanished. The grave-eyed creature bled smoke and fell to ash. And Lilith stood her ground.
Barely.
She's transcending, one of the remaining beings whispered in horror. She's not meant to. She is now, Seraphina said. And then she moved. Through flame. Through ruin. Straight for Lilith. The fight was brutal. Personal. Centuries of betrayal written into each strike. Lilith fought with desperation. Seraphina with conviction. And Maya watched with her entire body burning from the inside out. She didn't know if she was human anymore. She didn't care. She was alive. And in that moment, she saw the path ahead. She saw what she had to become. Maya stepped forward. Past the ruins. Past the ash. Past the memory of fear. And she raised her hand. Not to destroy, but to rewrite. Light poured from her palm like a river of stars. It touched Seraphina's back, and the vampire straightened, stronger.
Faster.
It washed over Lilith and she froze. Paralyzed not by pain, but by memory. I remember, Lilith whispered, what it was like before I became this. Then remember why you lost it, Maya said. Because you chose power over love. Lilith dropped her blade. I can't go back. No, Seraphina said. But we can go forward. The battle ended not with blood, but with choice. The remaining members of the circle dissolved, crumbling into whispers and cinders. Lilith fell to her knees. Alone. Powerless. Remembering. Maya's wings flickered, then folded back into her. The mark on her collarbone faded to a soft, quiet glow. And Seraphina dropped her weapons, walking toward her. You came back to me, she said, voice thick. Maya touched her face. I was never gone. Seraphina kissed her like the world wasn't falling apart. Because it wasn't. It was beginning again. In the days that followed, no one came for them. The war had ended. Quietly. Finally. Not with destruction. But with transformation. Maya didn't go back to her old life. That girl, the one who had typed a stranger's name into a hospital form, was gone. In her place stood a woman of fire and fate. And Seraphina? She didn't hide anymore. She walked beside Maya in the daylight, eyes pale with centuries, lips curved in something dangerously close to joy. They built something new together. Not a kingdom. Not a throne. Just a home. One filled with warmth and shadow, and the kind of love that rebuilt universes. And sometimes, when the wind shifted just right, Maya could still hear the old world calling. But she never answered. Because she wasn't part of it anymore. She was part of something better. Seraphina pulled her close one night, lips brushing her ear. Do you regret any of it? Maya laughed softly. You mean the accident? The name? The blood? The wings? Yes. Maya turned in her arms, kissed her like gravity didn't matter. I regret